My name's Harper. I'm 35, thriving in my marketing career, and for a while, I thought I had life all figured out. Then James came along, sweeping me off my feet. Before I knew it, we were walking down the aisle, saying, I do. Crazy, right? But here's the twist. James came with a 12-year-old son, Tyler. Moving in with them felt like stepping into a minefield. I tried everything to win Tyler over. Hey buddy, I made your favorite lasagna, I'd say, hoping for a smile. Instead, I'd get an eye roll and a mumbled, whatever. It was like talking to a brick wall. One night, I offered to help Tyler with his math homework. Let's tackle these fractions together, I suggested. He slammed the book shut and snapped. I don't need your help. You're not my mom. I turned to James, expecting him to step in. He just shrugged. Give him time. But time didn't fix things. Tyler's attitude only worsened. He ignored curfew, left messes everywhere, and constantly talked back. Whenever I tried to set boundaries, James would undercut me. Harper, don't be so hard on him, he'd say. It was like I was losing my mind. Was I the problem? I needed to vent, so I called my best friend, Olivia. Girl, you won't believe what Tyler did today. I started. Spill the tea, she said, and I did. About Tyler's disrespect, James's lack of support, the whole mess. Olivia listened, then said, Harper, honey, these are some serious red flags. Are you sure you're not in over your head? I don't know, Liv. I love James, but this is so rough. I get it, she said, but don't lose yourself trying to fix it. You matter too. Her words stuck with me, but I wasn't ready to give up. I threw myself into work, hoping things would smooth out at home. Big mistake. A few weeks later, my boss, Mr. Peterson, called me into his office. Harper, is everything okay? Your last few presentations have been off. I forced a smile. Everything's fine, sir. Just a little stressed, but I'll get back on track. But as I left, I knew I wasn't fine. Something had to change. Then the phone rang. It was the school. This is Miss Thompson, Tyler's teacher. We need you to come in immediately, she said, her tone serious. My stomach dropped. I rushed to the school, my mind racing. Had Tyler gotten into trouble? Was he hurt? When I arrived, Miss Thompson's expression was grim. Mrs. Walker, Tyler has made a serious accusation against you. What? What are you talking about? I asked, my heart pounding. He claims you've been physically abusing him, she said quietly. The world stopped. That's impossible. I would never. I felt like I was drowning. Miss Thompson didn't waver. We take these allegations very seriously. Child Protective Services has been notified. Just then, James burst in. What's going on? Miss Thompson explained the situation. I turned to James, desperate for him to defend me. You know this isn't true, right? But James looked torn. He turned to Tyler. Is this true? Did Harper hurt you? Tyler, avoiding eye contact, nodded. Last week, she hit me while you were at work. That never happened, I shouted, losing my composure. A CPS worker arrived soon after. Mrs. Walker, we'll need you to leave the family home during our investigation. Leave? But I didn't do anything. James finally spoke, his voice low. Maybe it's for the best, Harper, just until we figure this out. It felt like a slap. You can't seriously believe this. James wouldn't meet my eyes. I don't know what to believe right now. In a daze, I packed a bag and called Olivia. Can I stay with you? I'll explain everything when I get there. At her apartment, I broke down. Between sobs, I told her everything. That little brat. Olivia fumed. And James, how dare he not stand up for you? I don't know what to do, Liv. My whole life is falling apart. Olivia hugged me tight. First things first, we're getting you a lawyer. I know just the person. The next day, we met with Sandra Davis, a sharp-eyed attorney specializing in family law. This is a serious situation, Harper, Sandra said, but false accusations do happen. We'll fight this. Back at work, whispers followed me everywhere. Did you hear Harper beat her Stepson? My colleague Mark asked. I always thought there was something off about her. Later, Mark approached my desk. Tough break, huh? Kids say the darndest things. He's lying, Mark. I didn't touch him, I said through gritted teeth. Hey, I'm just saying, where there's smoke. He trailed off as I stormed away, locking myself in the bathroom. I called Olivia, my voice shaking. I can't do this, Liv. Everyone thinks I'm a monster. Listen to me, Olivia said, her voice steady. You were strong. You were innocent. We'll get through this. As I hung up, I caught my reflection in the mirror. I looked tired, scared, but there was a spark of determination in my eyes. I will not let them break me, I whispered to myself. I will fight this, and I will win. In the following weeks, Sandra and I worked tirelessly to build my case. We need character witnesses, she explained. Anyone who can vouch for your relationship with Tyler. I thought hard. Mr. Peterson, he's seen me with Tyler at company picnics. When I called, Mr. Peterson didn't hesitate. Of course I'll testify. I've seen you with Tyler. You're patient and kind. Tears welled up as I hung up. At least someone believed in me. Sandra also arranged for a psychological evaluation. After several sessions, Dr. Ramirez concluded, I see no signs of abusive tendencies. In fact, you show a strong desire to nurture and protect. It was a small victory, but I'd take what I could get. Meanwhile, James had gone radio silent. The few times he did reach out, it was all about him. People are talking, Harper. This is really affecting my business, he said one day. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Your business, James? My entire life is falling apart. He hung up without another word. A few days later, Olivia called, her voice tight with anger. You won't believe what I just heard. What now? I sighed. I was at Starbucks and overheard James talking to some neighbors. He was badmouthing you, Harper, saying he should have known better than to marry someone he barely knew. The betrayal stung like a physical blow. He said that. After everything I've done for him and Tyler? I'm so sorry, honey. You deserve better than this, Olivia said gently. Just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, a breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Miss Thompson, Tyler's teacher, contacted Sandra, requesting an urgent meeting. I've noticed some inconsistencies in Tyler's story, she explained, looking uncomfortable. And, well, I did some digging. This isn't the first time Tyler has made false accusations. My heart raced. What do you mean? Miss Thompson sighed. Last year, he accused a teacher of favoritism when he didn't get the lead in the school play. It was investigated and found to be completely fabricated. Sandra leaned forward. And you're just bringing this up now. I feel terrible, Miss Thompson admitted. I should have looked into this history more thoroughly before escalating things. I'm here to make it right. As the investigation deepened, more truths came to light. Tyler's school counselor revealed a pattern of manipulative behavior, often playing James and me against each other. Tyler shows signs of severe emotional neglect, the counselor explained. He creates drama to get attention. It all started making sense, the acting out, the lies, the manipulation. Tyler was crying out for help in the worst way possible. But the most shocking revelation came from Tyler's best friend, Kevin. In a moment of guilt, Kevin confessed to Sandra that Tyler had bragged about his plan. He said he was going to make up stuff about his stepmom so his dad would kick her out, Kevin admitted. He said his dad always believes him and buys him stuff to make up for it. I felt a whirlwind of emotions, anger, pity, and heartbreak. Tyler had been hurting for so long, and James had been too blind to see it. As the truth unraveled, I couldn't help but think back to all the red flags I'd ignored. How James would brush off Tyler's bad behavior, the expensive gifts that appeared after every tantrum. I should have seen it, I told Olivia over coffee. I was so focused on making things work, I missed what was really going on. You can't blame yourself, Olivia said, squeezing my hand. You were trying to be a good wife and stepmom. I nodded, a new determination settling in. You're right, now it's time to start fighting for myself. The day the case was officially dropped should have felt like a victory, but it was bittersweet. My name was cleared, but the damage was done. I couldn't go back to that house, to James and Tyler. It wasn't home anymore. I met with Sandra to discuss the next steps. I want a divorce, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. Sandra nodded, unsurprised. We'll cite James's lack of support and Tyler's false accusations. It should be straightforward. Straightforward, maybe, but not easy. Every signature on those papers felt like closing a chapter of my life I'd never get back. At work, I threw myself into every project. Mr. Peterson noticed. Harper, your performance these past few months has been exceptional, he said during my review. I'm promoting you to senior marketing director. I nearly fell out of my chair. Thank you, sir. I don't know what to say. He smiled. There's more. The position is in our New York office. A fresh start, if you want it. I didn't even hesitate. I'll take it. As I packed up my life, Olivia helped, filling me in on the local gossip. James is having a rough time, she said. Lost a bunch of clients when the truth came out. And Tyler, he got suspended for bullying. Guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I felt a twinge of something, not quite sympathy, but something close. I hope they got the help they needed. Both of them. New York was everything I needed. A new job, a new apartment, a new me. I even started volunteering at a youth center, mentoring kids from troubled homes. It felt good to use my experiences to help others. 2 years flew by, and one afternoon I was in my office reviewing quarterly reports when my assistant brought in a letter. The return address made my heart skip. Tyler's old school. Inside was a note from Miss Thompson. Dear Harper, I hope this letter finds you well. I'm writing to inform you that Tyler has been caught in a serious lie at his new school. He's facing expulsion. James has reached out for help, but I thought you should know. Sincerely, Miss Thompson. I sat back, a whirlwind of emotions hitting me. Part of me wanted to laugh at that irony. Another part itched for the troubled kid I tried so hard to help. You okay, boss? My assistant Jen asked. You look like you've seen a ghost. I smiled, folding the letter. Just a blast from the past, nothing to worry about. That night, as I got ready for my date with Michael, a kind, understanding man I'd met through my volunteer work, I thought about how far I'd come. 2 years ago, I was fighting to prove my innocence. Now, I was thriving in a job I loved, helping kids who needed it, and dating someone who respected me. As Michael and I walked to dinner, hand in hand, I realized something. I was happy, truly, genuinely happy. What are you smiling about? Michael asked, squeezing my hand. I looked up at the New York skyline, my adopted home, just thinking about how sometimes the worst things that happen to us lead us to the best places. He nodded, understanding in his eyes. Well, I'm glad whatever happened led you here. Me too, I thought. I'd survived, I'd thrived, and I'd found happiness. Meanwhile, those who had wronged me were facing the consequences of their actions. It wasn't about revenge, it was about justice, and the best revenge was living well. As we entered the restaurant, I made a decision. That letter, I wasn't going to respond. That chapter of my life was closed. I had a new story to write, and I couldn't wait to see how it unfolded. The story ends here, but the conversation is just beginning. What would you have done in Harper's shoes? If you received that letter about Tyler 2 years later, would you have responded, offering help despite the pain he caused? Or would you have kept that chapter firmly closed? Your experiences shape your perspective, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop your answer in the comments below.